today with Lauren, who is a junior registrar in OBS and Gynae. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Perfect.
And we have loads and loads of questions from everyone from both of our sides that we thought we would combine them and do a video. It's also very helpful for me because I've been asking Lauren loads of questions throughout the last whole time of my pregnancy, basically, and before. So the topic we wanted to cover today was this dreaded 2-week wait between when you ovulate and when you can do when you can do a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
So I remember that 2 weeks felt like 2 months,
yeah.
and you're sort of Googling everything and thinking of, you're like listening to your body so carefully and thinking of all the symptoms. But what is the truth in that? So what is there any, well actually first of all, what is going on in your body?
So what's kind of going on is the fertilisation, because even sperm can live in like the womb and kind of the reproductive tract for up to a week. So it can, you're not necessarily conceiving straight away. So then obviously the egg and the sperm are meeting, forming a little embryo, and then that travels down and implants in the uterus. So, and then that's when all these hormones start changing, and so you kind of need to wait for these changes to be able to be picked up.
Which is why some people can get a positive test quite early and some can get it a little bit later, because actually we don't know exactly when.
Yeah. And it's difficult because now tests are becoming much more sensitive, so people kind of finding out much earlier.
And then you can have people finding out, like me, a chemical pregnancy where it sort of just fertilises and doesn't work.
Yeah.
Are there any symptoms that actually you can look out for? Because I found that the symptoms that I was looking out for were actually also the same as the symptoms I'd get before a period.
Yeah.
So it was like, who knows what's going on?
It's difficult because I think, like you say, a lot of them are quite similar, like the breast tenderness. And also I think if you're trying to conceive, you're very kind of tuned into your body and like what's going on. So I think that's really hard, but the best sort of advice is just to kind of try and relax and ignore.
It's easier said than done.
Absolutely. And just try to ignore and just wait for that period and see if it comes.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't, you can do the test.
Yeah.
Which is very much easier said than done. But
that's good advice. So trying to wait for the full 2 weeks rather than spending a fortune on Clear Blue tests and all these things. I ordered some on Amazon because I was too embarrassed to go to the shop, and I by accident signed up to a subscription.
Oh my gosh!
Which you can do, which I think is really quite helpful. But they kept coming, and I was like, "What's going on?" Had to stop the subscription. So just be aware, on Amazon you can sign up to a monthly subscription of pregnancy tests. And the amount of money you spend on them is crazy. So I guess, waiting till your period is due or the day before or something is probably the best bet, because otherwise you find yourself looking at the lines, trying to see if there's anything there, and you drive yourself completely crazy. I know because I've done it. Yeah. Hands up, I've done it all.
One thing you can do if you sort of want to feel like you're doing something positive is just, all the kind of dietary lifestyle things. So, if you're a smoker, cutting down on your smoking or stopping, which is better.
Ideally.
That making sure you're taking your folic acid, which you should take before you conceive, really, or as soon as you're trying to conceive.
Yeah.
And things like that, they're sort of positive things you can try and do.
Cutting back on your caffeine and so doing what you would do the second you find out you were pregnant.
Yeah.
The other thing I get asked a lot about is exercise. I don't think people probably don't ask you that because they see you
a bit later
after they've got to that point. So there's no real rule with it as such, so everybody's very different. But what I did, and I found it helpful mentally as well, knowing that I was doing something to sort of help, was that I slowed down on the sort of high intensity workout. So I stopped doing sprinting and, these workouts where I'd be completely red in the face and gasping for breath. I still trained and I still did strength training and things like that, but I made sure I got lots of rest. I did a bit more restorative work. I just tried, because I knew my body was doing this thing and it was busy. I didn't want to distract and send the energy elsewhere. So I still did exercise, but I made sure that it was a bit kinder to my body, I'd say. And people do worry about, if I'm doing jumping, will I dislodge the egg? And I think if it's going to work, it's going to work.
Yeah.
You doing an extra lunge is not going to make the egg fall out of place. No. But just be sensible. And if you feel like you're over-exercising, you probably are. So if you're worried about it, then I think tone it down. It doesn't mean you've got to lie flat.
No. The general advice is basically, if you're doing something before you get pregnant, then you can continue doing it.
Yeah.
So if you're not sort of running 10k every day prior to pregnancy, you shouldn't be starting that in pregnancy, but equally you can increase your activity, more walking or something like that, gently to start off with.
Yeah, and in that 2-week window, continue as normal, but just make sure if you're tired, you're resting and things like that, just so you allow your body to do what it needs to do, because I think it's doing a lot. You can't see it, but it's doing a lot, and if your body's tired, it's probably telling you that for a reason, and just sort of lay off the sort of crazy exercise for that. But that, I mean, everybody's different. Some people say, I had no idea I was pregnant and I was sprinting every day and whatever. So, each to their own, but that was what I did, and that's what I would advise clients if they ask me that question. So basically the answer is that we can't do that much.
No.
If it's going to work, it's going to work. Try not to stress too much in those 2 weeks, and try not to Google everything. I'm only speaking from experience, because you're going to Google and you can find everything, literally every article.
Yeah, if you want advice, a really good place is the NHS website. I've looked at this a lot just to see exactly what the NHS is kind of saying for women.
Yeah.
And actually, it's got loads of information. And the problem with Google is you can get
the right answer by typing in a question in a certain way, like, is it really okay if I do this? And you can actually create the answer yourself. So NHS website is great, but apart from that, try to just let time pass and then do that test, and fingers crossed, let's just see. But it's a long 2 weeks, so be patient. Okay.